Is he? Oh, and Sue, sorry. I didn't see you sitting there, Sue.
Thank you.
So we're pretty straightforward here, 10 minutes. We've got a few to get through, but welcome, thanks for making the effort to come down and submit, etc. And 10 minutes are yours.
Thanks for hosting us. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Pat O'Brien. This is my wife Sue. We farm on the Mahia Peninsula, and I'm also the chairperson of the Whangawehi Catchment Management Group. We're a strong group with a clear vision, and right from day one we had a clear vision, and it hasn't changed. It's actually expanded. We would like to see Mahia as a predator-free area at some stage. It's a big project, it's a big task, and one of the keys to our project is our project coordinator, which is the reason why I'm here. We struggle every time we apply for funding to get funding for this coordinator. To date, Regional Council have been very supportive, all other government agencies. 12 months ago he took a pay cut, and he's that passionate about his job. He's still with us, so we're pretty proud of that, and that shows the man's dedication. So the reason we're here, we're asking for a contribution from Regional Council to secure this guy for another 3 years. We acknowledge the support that you're already giving us, but we can't afford to lose him. We've got big visions for the Mahia Peninsula. As I said, predator-free, guided walks, mountain bike trails, all sorts of things. So Sue's got a little bit of history on Nick Cavalier. For those of you who don't know him, she's just going to give you a bit of an update on his skill set.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Sue. I first met Nick in 2011 when he came to our property to do a soil capability map with Garth Isles, and through the work we've been involved in with the catchment, I've got to know Nick extremely well, both personally and professionally. He has a background in water and soil science, majoring in natural resource management. The job description that he has as our facilitator, coordinator, is the skill set that's needed to do this job well is varied and diverse, and he meets all the criteria that we require to keep this group going and moving forward into the future. He's writing farm management plans for landowners, catchment management plans for the group. There's a huge degree of community engagement at the moment, building the profile of the group. He is working with the Mahia School, liaising with the Mahia School, and the group of funding work there at the moment, which is pretty exciting. He's involved in all the on-ground work that's happening, tree planting, fencing, diggers, water reticulation, pole planting, all the work that goes with soil conservation and the health of our Whangawehi River. But most importantly, Nick has great interpersonal skills. He's very culturally responsive and inclusive, which is very important in the role that he has in the part of the world that we live in. He's hardworking, passionate, and basically he's pretty pivotal and a key link in what we're doing. I think it's sort of crucial that we try and retain him and keep him. We've got the work that we started is obviously ongoing, but our vision has changed. We're looking towards cycleways and walkways, branding for our produce. So yeah, there's some exciting things ahead. But quite the best analogy I can give you is that he's the petrol in our tank at the moment, and without him, I think we could very easily lose the momentum that we've gained, and that would be a little bit of a tragedy, really. So that's why we're here, is to seek this extra funding for the coordinator facilitator role, and to perhaps get some certainty, maybe out to 3 years, so we can move forward, really. Yeah, so I'll just leave it there.
So I've got a question. Is there a place in the middle somewhere where he would be of sufficient use on a part-time basis, and council may be able to utilise his skills elsewhere as well? Or are you talking full-time, 5 days a week, 40 hours?
For the catchment, yeah. He's, for the last 3 years, 2 years, he's been full-time for the catchment. It is a full-time role. We're happy to help other catchments set up something similar, use our profile. We'd be more than happy to work with other catchments, but his role within our group is a full-time role. We've created 5 part-time jobs. We've got 12 signatories, landowner signatories to our MOU. We've got 3 marae. The iwi are just coming on board. It's just growing and growing as time goes on.
The fact that he got the 3 marae together is testament to how collaborative he really is.
Yeah, it is. And at present we're covering the immediate catchments, 3,500 hectares. We're expanding that to 7,000 over the next few months, starting with pest control. And as I say, eventually we'd like to be working with the whole peninsula. There's some other things happening at different ends of the peninsula with Ngā Whenua Rahui and Dock, and so we want to work with those guys more closely. So yeah.
Other questions, Councillor Graham and Councillor Scott?
Firstly, I think what you guys do is just unbelievably good, and you should be the model that we go with. You have created the model that I think is the right model. And one question is it's a bit outlandish really, but what chance do you think you could have of making Mahia Peninsula pest-free? Because when you look at it, and Deb and I are just doing that.
What chance do I believe we've got?
Yeah, what chance would we have as a community to make it pest-free? The peninsula, the whole peninsula. I think
99%. That's with a bit of hard work we'll get there.
Councillor Scott.
So I just come back from the Green Ribbon Awards last night. We were finalists 3 years running for the caring for the water category. I was hoping to come back with a prize, but it wasn't to be. I thought 3rd time lucky, but no, we'll keep persevering. So as I said, we're asking to secure them on a permanent basis for at least 3 years. And if we could get some extra help for that, that would be just outstanding. And I think the flow-on effects to the wider community will benefit from it greatly.
Thank you for your presentation, and disappointed about the Green Ribbon Awards. I was keeping my fingers crossed for you for this time around.
Put your microphone a bit closer.
It's a bit hard with all the papers in front of it, Mr. Chairman. You referred to Nick writing the FEMPs for a number of landowners. Presumably that's done on a commercial basis and that goes towards his salary, does it?
Yep. Yeah, some of it has been, for sure.
So I think it's sort of significant to mention that since September last year, 6 new landowners have signed our Memorandum of Understanding. And with the Rongomaia Wahine Iwi Trust now signalling that they're willing to support, I think it's heralding quite a strong position for this group, because as Fenton said, it's no mean task to get everybody working constructively and collaboratively together, and if you can achieve that, I think we'll carry on and be able to make a real difference to environmentally to our district and economically as well, hopefully into the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we're out of time, actually, but we could talk about this all day. Yeah. It's a great project. But
I'd
thank
just like to thank you for your time and hearing our submission.
well, thank you for your submission and for the effort in presenting, and we'll be deliberating on all the above tomorrow. So,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, now we have, it's got here Hawke's Bay Federated Farmers. I'm assuming it's Whitehall Federated Farmers, Jean and Rex. Jean Martin, Rex McIntyre, welcome. So those are submissions 112 and 116.
We toss.
So welcome, guys. 10 minutes, the usual. Jean and Rex, if you want some questions, give us a bit of time in the 10 minutes, would be appreciated.
Actually, I think the Hawke's Bay Federated Farms were supposed to be here, but apparently they're not. So I do know that Coralie's either just had a baby or having a baby or something like that at the moment, so I apologise for her. I really just want to, I don't think I'll go right through the whole Federated Farmers submission, and I know Rex is going to talk to his piece on the rail, so if you don't mind, I'll keep mine short because I know Rex is going to be long. Mine basically is I want to talk about the animal pest control issue, which I brought up last year when I said that I was very upset that as a farmer in Wairoa we were paying twice for our pest control by paying our rates but on a per hectare basis, and then having to pay for a pest control operator come in to kill the possums. I put the submission in last year, and of course that was rejected. I see the Animal Health Board part was removed, but the Hawke's Bay Regional Council, which was $800 and something for us, went up to $900. So my just saying what Coralie's got written here, we're concerned with the targeted animal pest rate requires landowners some years to pay for pest control twice. And this is absolutely true. And Fenton, you were at our Wairoa AGM when Nick Broad said he just had the pest control guys in to fill bait stations, etc., and it cost him $800 and he thought it was cheap. So I talked to him afterwards and I said, so what are your rates on top of that? He said $900. I said, so $1,700 is cheap. Well, not in my mind, it's not. So I don't really know what can be done about it. I'd be quite happy if some of my rates went to Pat O'Brien's position, but I think that we need to do something about perhaps implementing a differential system to recover the rates in a fairer, more specific way. And also I'd like to see some transparency as to what my $900 does. Does it all go to administration? Where does it go? A guy came and visited me that was keen to do all my bait stations, and as you know, I do not have poison. So I asked him for trapping. He said that was going to be more expensive. I said, well, what is your rate? He said $55 an hour. I said, on your bike, thank you. So I have got someone that's going to do trapping for fur, etc., and he's going to be nowhere near $55 an hour. But I just think that as a Wairoa person, and we have not got a TB issue. We have not had one, apart from it's come on the back of a truck a number of years ago. We've never had that problem. We have got good cover for possums, but we don't really have a problem, if you see what I mean. So how many years are we going to keep on, carrying on these rates when there is no real issue, which was originally TB? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think most of you know me. I'm going to speak on the section of the Napier-Gisborne railway line and access and infrastructure there. First of all, I'm speaking on behalf of Federated Farmers, as that's a bit simpler and plainer. As you know, that the Napier-Gisborne Road, especially Napier and Waira, is very substandard state highway. A regional portion of the road was built to the requirements of over 100 years ago. Horse and cart, horse and dray. Today's requirements are dramatically different. Cars travel at 100 k's per hour at least. Trucks with high horsepower, 600 horsepower, with a total length of 22 metres, total weight of 50 tonnes, or possibly 62 tonnes at 90 k's per hour. Of the trucks going through Bayview, 54% go west to Taupo and Auckland, 46% go north to Wairo and Gisborne, and that statistic was 2 years ago when by the New Zealand Transport Authority. And I'm of the opinion, just viewing it, it is considerably higher going north and south on State Highway 2. This clearly shows the economic importance of State Highway 2. We know economic development and growth in the region is number one for many people, including central government, who is asking a 50% increase in agricultural productivity over the next 10 years. The way to improve our lives, our well-being and our economic choices is through how we can stimulate and support that growth. If we want to have productive growth, then a good roading infrastructure is actually going to significantly contribute to that outcome. With the mothballing of the Napier-Gisborne Railway, a group of private individuals in Gisborne and Hawke's Bay, now known as the Eastern Transport Initiatives Group, saw that using part of the rail corridor would be an excellent opportunity to relocate State Highway 2 from its current route from Tongoia to Tutera, up and over the Devil's Elbow, highest point in the range, back to a low point in the Waikahau Gorge, and then back up to Tutera. With a multi-use corridor, rail, road and cycleway, it would give the road a 1 in 100 gradient, just about level. And that would save climbing on top of the range and back down again. The cost based on the Matahora realignment is somewhere between $80 and $100 million for 29 kilometres of road. Not very big, really. And it would reduce the travel time by about 15 minutes per car and a lot more by truck. With another couple of minor improvements, it would make the social and economic game changer for Waira and Gisborne. What we would like to see the local province to do is strongly support the group in a written endorsement that the rail corridor be a multi-use transport corridor, being rail, road and cycleway. Any questions on that aspect?
Thank you. Also, Jean may have questions as well, and considering Rex has got 2 time slots here because he's got the 2 issues, so if you're happy to sit there, Jean, there may be some questions for you around your proposal.
Probably for both of them, Mr. Chairman, because I note that the Waira branch of Federated Farmers under this is supporting it. I think you said that you are actually speaking on behalf of Federated Farmers, it's not the Waira branch, is that right?
No, I was speaking on behalf of the Hawke's Bay Federated Farmers.
Could you tell me what the membership is of the Waira branch and what the membership is of the Hawke's Bay?
I couldn't tell you of the Hawke's Bay in total, but the Waira membership is well above 60. Jean might know more accurately than I do.
Yeah.
but it's also speaking on behalf of the Gisborne branch, which is out of this region's area, but they're strongly supporting that as well. So there's a great big people, but I'll talk a bit about that later in
I
my
wonder,
submission.
Mrs. Martin, can you, do you know what the membership of
In
Ted
Wairoa?
Farmers is?
It-
No.
Oh, Hawke's Bay,
Hawke's
no,
Bay.
I'm sorry, I can't, no. So, I just live in Wairoa, so my little patch.
Excuse me, Councillor Barker.
Thank you for your submission. You make it seem that all we just got to do is pass a resolution and all the land under the railway track goes somewhere else. Have you done any analysis of the underlying legal issues here? For example, it would seem to me that the land was probably taken under the Public Works Act at the time and taken it for rail. Did the Crown or its agencies no longer requires for rail under the Public Works Act? It's got to offer it back to the original owners. Did the original owners then have the option to take it and decide for what there is? There is a myriad of issues underneath here. And I'd like you to give us an explanation of what consideration and legal analysis you've done on those issues and what those conclusions are.
That'll come in my second part of the submission, and there's been a lot of work done on that. But the quick answer to your question is that most of it was taken under the Public Works Act, and then there was an act passed in 1993 when the railways became a private enterprise corporation, and that act still exists, and until that act is relinquished or changed, there can be nothing done by central government to the rail corridor. It is sanctisanct to the railway corporation. So that's a quick answer to what you asked, and that's one of the key things where this council comes in, and I'll mention that later.
Well, so considering Jean gave up some of her time to talk about rail, have you got any questions for Jean particularly in regard to the pest control consideration, double spend, etc.? Mike's been writing furiously. That is a valid question in my view. Why is that value the same? Maybe we need to break it down. That's a discussion for tomorrow when we deliberate. So any further questions for Jean?
I'm just going to tease this out as a question. Jean, I understand the Hawke's Bay Federated Farmers membership is about 400. Is that correct?
Well, that's probably right.
Thank you.
That's probably right, yes.
So second part of your submission, Rex, yeah.
Thank you. This is the blunt part. New Zealand prides itself in being an open, democratic country where through a process everyone has an opportunity to be informed and have a say. I would refer you to the regional land plan, and I'm talking about consultation. This document, right at the very start, and I'll read it. Oh. In tandem with the work streams, it is accepted that specific consultation had to be undertaken and that the stakeholder participation in our transportation planning and decisions making would be of ensuring that the strategy is relevant and addresses stakeholders and the wider community needs. Vital to this document. And also in other documents, we have this one, the most recent one. You all know about it. Here it is there. And it says, a message from the Chair and the Chief Executive. We continue to have a strong focus on collaboration and ongoing desire to push Hawke's Bay ahead. With the regions, Hawke's Bay Regional Council is the Regional Environmental Management and Economic Development Authority. Then we have a quote from the Chairman. We want to ensure that residents and ratepayers are well informed and to have their say. We have a look at what we are proposing, and please feel to contact us if you have any questions. Now I would go back to the consultation process. That's my point. The point is, where was the consultation had on the use of the railway corridor north in the last 3 years? I have taken the trouble to visit a number of organisations, and they are significant, representing a large body of people. Last night I talked to the Wires Lions Club. A couple of weeks ago I talked to the Wire Rotary Club. 2 in the Lions Club had ever heard any consultation, which they read in the paper. Is that true consultation? I ask you. Same with the Rotary, practically no one. So, was that mine? Should have been switched off. Unfortunately it was. So my point is, and I'm going to shorten it right down, it makes a mockery of the whole process. When nothing has been done, and yet it says in your documents that it should be done. I believe that this still has to be done. I believe strongly that you've got to go out and consult before you can have a decision. Sure, the decision for the long-term plan, which I submitted to in February 15, I submitted to. The plan came out in April 2015. I actually got it after the annual plan or the 10-year plan had come out. I was hoping there'd be something in it, but nothing. There's a little quote in there from my submission that the rail corridor be used as a multiple corridor. Nothing otherwise. So much for informing the people and informing myself, which was about 6 weeks late. It means nothing. The other strong point, and I'll read through the people I've talked to, and it's significant, and they don't know. So it makes invalid any decision you make. I've talked to the Federated Farmers Wire in 2014, 15 and 16. The Gisborne province has sent a submission on behalf of Wire, which is part of the Gisborne province, not answered. Spoke to the Mayor Bill Dalton twice recently, again for about an hour. It was him who led the discussion, and seconded by Mayor Yule, that the access north of Napier is critical to the development of the region when they were asked. That was in the paper. I've presented the Wire District Council Forum twice. Haven't got a decent answer out of them. Sorry, Mr. Mayor, if he's here. I've spoken to the Wire Rotary and Lions Club. I've spoken about that. I had 2 discussions with Chairman Fenton Wilson, brief discussions, totally unsatisfactory in my opinion. I didn't need to be put off like that. I've had discussions with Brian Pritchard, and unfortunately I have a letter which I can send to you, which I forgot and left it on my desk this morning, which saying they're not interested in using the rail at all. At all. I've talked to AFCO, have a letter of support. They have pulled up their track, and they don't use the railway and don't envisage to use the railway. It is not efficient for a perishable product. It's got to go quickly. The interesting thing there, if you're talking about the economics of Wairoa, is the kill in Wairoa, a third comes from Gisborne in that area, a third comes from Wairoa down to Tutera, and 40% comes from south of Tutera. Trucked up, trucked back. The biggest employer in Wairoa. That's the importance of the state highway. I've talked to Ravensdown, to a senior manager and a director, and I'm awaiting a letter from the CEO, Craig Campbell. And I've talked to the Tutera Ratepayers Association. They didn't know a thing about it. So I'm covering, and Federated Farmers, as we've just mentioned, nothing known. So I'm covering a big broad spectrum of the Hawke's Bay population. So much for your consultation. Now, I'd just like to end by saying that it's critically important that we have something in the land transport plan, because in the your land transport plan 2015-25, it says that you've got, for central government to allocate any funding, it has to go through this plan, a priority in this plan. It is not there. We have since come across this, to the stage, and some of you people know about it, but the red process that the government's going through at the moment, we can't get $1 out of it because it's not in here. Now, if you want to look at the economic development of both Hawke's Bay and the northern region and Wairoa, the infrastructure, the access infrastructure is critical. And the regional council has slipped completely. I'm saying review it, stop all negotiations with the railway until you've done your job as you said you would. Stop those negotiations, inform the people of all the options, which you said you would and had to, and then get a feedback from them as to what is required, what is wanted by the community, and then act. And also we have to think about the red situation in government. They're making that decision in the next 3 weeks, announcement early July. They can't do a dash thing because it's not in here, it's not in there, and so Northern Hawke's Bay will miss out. So that's my plea.
Thank you.
Do it. Now questions.
Firmly made. No questions. You're out of time.
I knew you'd say that, Mr. Chairman,
Well,
because it
if you'd
lets you
watched
off
that,
the hook.
if you'd watched that, you would have realised. But anyway, so thank you very much for your submission. And as I said, you know, if you wanted questions, you needed to allow time, such as Jean did. But anyway, thank you.
I knew you'd say that, Mr. Chairman.
Did you? No, I would have talked all day.
Sometimes we let things go with importance. This wouldn't have happened, though.
Mr. Chairman.
Good on you.
Thank
Good
you.
on you, Rex. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to your submission.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Cheers.
just on a cheerful note, you know, that there's all this people that want to be GE free. Don't forget that all the pine trees have been genetically modified for, you know, about 50 years. So there's the horse bolted.
You had to
a
bring
long
that
time
up,
ago.
Jean. You had to bring that up.
Long time ago.
Okay.